Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses EDDIE-FICATION to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through EDDIE-FICATION, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights. The Country Cold Store wishes to advise their wholesale customers and the general public that the wholesale operation, which includes the offices at Piedmont St. David and their sales trucks and delivery service, will be closed and unavailable on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023 to facilitate their annual stock-taking exercise. The wholesale operation will resume on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Country Cold wish to advise, however, that their retail outlet or mini-mart will not be closed for this process and will remain open on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Country Cold apologize for any inconveniences caused and wish to thank all customers for their cooperation and understanding.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Become a Pure Grenada Excellence Champion. The Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program is a unique service excellence training initiative created to improve the quality and marketability of local service providers, better enabling the provision of exceptional experiences to locals and visitors alike. Continuing in September, these free customer service workshops, facilitated by yours truly, Eddie Frederick, are available for interested business operators and staff of tourism enterprises. Stay tuned for important updates. Or you can also visit www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion to take advantage of this training opportunity.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safely and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. Eddie Frederick.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, welcome to open season as we continue here on Edification. This fourth and final Sunday of September, a month in the tropics that is usually the most active for severe, hurricanes. We all have been spared, and we have to be very, very grateful. Let us remember to remain vigilant, though, and keep our fingers close to the trigger of continued preparedness, since we have entered our fourth and final week of this usually active month. Let's continue to be grateful for all mercies bestowed upon us thus far. As I indicated to you last week, even the somewhat severe drought conditions is something for us to be thankful for, because I'm sure you would choose that over a hurricane any day. So pull up your chair, folks. Sound the alarm as loudly as you can and tell more people to come in, and let's absorb the boldness and factual sharing available each week right here on Edification. Of course, open season versions. As soon as you enter the room, as usual, indicate your presence. It's always lovely to hear you announce your presence. And of course, share. Like and comment as usual to make this as interactive as you usually do. We are happy to have you, so welcome. I invite you who regularly tune in, and you, of course, who have not yet followed my Eddie Frederick page on Facebook and my channel on YouTube, to do so that you're in, like all the others who enjoy unfettered access to the good vibes. Our topic today, very provocative indeed. Once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. When you understand that interactions, places, and even things of a higher value exist, you go back into former involvements that have not evolved, and you find yourself disappointed. You find yourself dissatisfied and even irritated somewhat. So you see, the more knowledgeable you become of the higher level, the more critical you become of the lower things. It's not intentional, but it is because you now have something else to compare it to. So let's say that you recently had a steak at a 5-star steakhouse, for instance. When you go back to an establishment that you used to be happy with and used to please you in the past, you can now say that this does not have the flavor of one of higher quality. I know I'm exposed to greater, so I look around and say, this has been exposed indeed. Because once you've been treated with respect, and you are spoken to and with, as against at and towards, and you are treated in a way that is decent and responsible. Now, when you reflect on all the disrespect you used to accept and thought it was charisma and even popularity, you realize that this does not hit the same. Once you meet up with a leader that speaks kindly substance to you, and just by virtue of sharing visions with you and delivering on promises made to you in the shortest time frame possible, it doesn't hit the same as when you were perpetually lied to, bamboozled, stolen from, and generally dehumanized with abject disrespect time and time again. You must become critical, because everything lesser becomes exposed. You see, when you know that you have grown is when something inside you says to you, this isn't for me anymore. It does not mean that I have outgrown you or that I am better than you. It simply means you or this aren't or isn't for me anymore. Isn't that interesting? You see, as Oliver Wendell Holmes said, once a mind has been expanded with a new concept or idea, it can never be satisfied to going back from whence it came. Some people just resist leaving their dunce ways behind. The modern illiterates are not those who cannot read and write alone, but are those who refuse to learn, unlearn, and relearn. You see, once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. Let's take a little break, and we'll come right back with some more, folks.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program. Become a Pure Grenada Excellence Champion. The Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program is a unique service excellence training initiative created to improve the quality and marketability of local service providers, better enabling the provision of exceptional experiences to locals and visitors alike. Continuing in September, these free customer service workshops, facilitated by yours truly, Eddie Frederick, are available for interested business operators and staff of tourism enterprises. Stay tuned for important updates. Or you can also visit www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion to take advantage of this training opportunity.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
The Country Cold Store wishes to advise their wholesale customers and the general public that the wholesale operation, which includes the offices at Piedmont St. David and their sales trucks and delivery service, will be closed and unavailable on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023, to facilitate their annual stock-taking exercise. The wholesale operation will resume on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Country Cold wish to advise, however, that their retail outlet or mini-mart will not be closed for this process and will remain open on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Country Cold apologize for any inconveniences caused and wish to thank all customers for their cooperation and understanding.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful, folks. Welcome back. And for those of you just joining, I'd like to thank you, and welcome you to this wonderful platform of open season edification, reminding you, of course, that our topic for today is once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. I beg and beseech you folks to renew your attitude to life. Renew your attitude to people. Renew your attitude to things. I know many of us sometimes feel we have reached our limits in life, that we will never be more successful or do something meaningful or enjoy the good things in life that we've seen others enjoying. Trust me, folks, we have not come this far to only reach this far. There is more to life than meets the eye. We have many more areas of life to explore and enjoy. Sometimes all we have to do is to change our location. A change in environment can reveal so many new vistas of life and take us through different dimensions. Unless we are willing to change, folks, our thinking and start believing for more and just something bigger for that matter, we will be correct to assume that we have reached our limits in life. I was born into humble beginnings where a single parent mother had the responsibility to take care of her 5 bastard children without the help of any of their fathers. Yet we made it. We're here to tell a story. In fact, not a day would pass and our mother would not be heard saying, listen folks, listen carefully. Lift my nose, please. Make me proud now. You may be poor now, but with a little education, you can go far. So pay attention in school. Don't let me hear anything untoward about you in the school, for I will come there and give you a licking in front of the whole school. That's how I was brought up, folks. Interestingly, the many of you Bible toters and quoters among us must remember from the scriptures that when Jesus wanted to encourage his followers to enlarge their visions, he reminded them, you cannot put new wine in old wineskins. He was saying that you cannot have a larger life with restricted negative attitudes. He was also saying you ought to know when something or someone has expired and outlived their usefulness. And that is why, hear me now, the old nastiness that many of you are used to has been changed on June 23rd, 2022. For he represents old wineskin that our new wine must not be poured into and stored in. So, for all of you out there today who still insist on following that local devil, who have absolutely nothing to offer you except to encourage you to stay dunce, vulnerable and poor, if you insist on not stretching your faith and vision and get rid of those old negative mindsets that hold you back, your goose in life will surely be cooked. Folks, you want me to believe that you are really Christians? Follow the scriptures now. You cannot put new wine in old wineskins. In other words, if you want to keep on getting what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. You must remember the old nastiness is already rich off your backs while you are preparing to die poor. Raise your level of expectancy, Grenadians. Raise your level of expectancy. The God several of you want people to believe you serve is extremely interested in what you see through your spiritual eyes. Hello? First of all, I beg you to understand that you are first spiritual beings having a human experience. If you have a vision for victory in your life, you can rise to a new level. You must employ commitment, discipline, persistency, consistency, and focus in order to stay the course to your victory. As long as your gaze is on the ground instead of on your possibilities, you will be moving in the wrong direction and missing out on the great things that God wants to do in and through you. It is a spiritual, folks, as well as a psychological fact. We move toward what we see in our minds. If your minds are continually fixed on things on the low, not enough, confusion, tebe, who you like and who you don't like, you will continue to enjoy the low quality of existence that you currently experience. Make the shift little by little, and you will see the change in your life experiences. Your life will follow your expectations. What you expect is what you will get. If you raise your level of expectancy, you will enlarge your vision. This would surely be the day that you see your miracles. Stop following and associating with losers, with users. Never mind how successful you think someone is. If that someone is blatantly dishonest, your emulation of them could never serve you well. Stop mixing up kakapool for foul egg. Stop mixing up a thief for a leader, not a thief, a thief for a leader. Stop glorifying fakes while you vilify and malign real, genuine people. When you raise your level of expectancy, your faith leads you to victory. Trust me. Another thing you must do while you're at it, folks, desist from putting limits on God. What does God, that you would like others to think you serve, have in store for you today? His dream for your life is so much greater than you can possibly imagine. If God showed you everything that he has in store for you, it would boggle your mind. It's time to quit limiting the master. When you put your trust in man, especially the mandarin and mantle, and the manipulating kind that we have a plethora of right here in Grenada, you retard your very existence. Look at how many of you today have been relegated to the back. Why is this? Because you insist on following a thief, a scoundrel, and a downright lowlife that you elevated foolishly and mindlessly. Christians, which we are supposed to be a majority of here in Grenada, you ought to remember God is your source, and his creativity and resources are unlimited. The old nastiness has no resources to give you, and no matter what he fools you to believe, he wants to be in a position to continue to manipulate you while he enriches himself and his wench of a faceless monster. The noises of Grenada's Ali Bongo must not be allowed to capture you and throw you off center and cause you to miss the dream or the idea you may have for an invention, for a book, a song, a better job, or a movie that God has in store for you. Stop ignoring the signs just because you are bogged down deep under the spell of that old nastiness. You see, one idea from God can forever change the course of your life. God is not limited by what you have or don't have. He can do anything if you will simply stop limiting him in your thinking. You see, a new thinking will surely help you break out of that prison that you insist on remaining in. One of the common slogans and phrases used among men and women who are serving long sentences in prison is simply this: you've got nothing coming. It's a sad, hopeless statement, robbing the inmates of what little hope they have left. Nothing is going to change in your life. You're getting what you deserve. You see, sadly, many people on the outside are living behind self-imposed bars, in prisons of their own making. You know, many people still afraid the old nastiness, that they cannot look at me live because they're afraid they're reported. They have to wait till the program is finished to look at me so nobody could see them because they're afraid the old nastiness. Folks, break out of that prison. Don't give the old nastiness that kind of power. You see, folks, this is the best you will be able to expect if you think like that. It isn't going to get any better, so you might as well sit down, keep quiet, and endure it. I say hell no to that. The same way people went out to the polls on June 23rd, 2022, with the hope of changing their fortunes from the diabolical Mitchell to the good Mitchell, is the same way you ought to allow that to motivate you to follow through and get up off your laurels to make the necessary adjustments in your life. Great things await you, Grenadians, but you must make an effort to move towards them. I am confident that you can break out of that prison if you really want to. The door is unlocked. Start expecting doors of opportunity to open for you, and they will. Too many of you, while you are experiencing seriously down times under the tenure of the old nastiness, especially between 2013 and 2022, you refused to prepare yourselves for this period, which is supposed to be your season. Your season is now here, and you are unprepared. Yet, you want the new administration to kick out and replace those who are deserving of total replacement. To be replaced by you, as unprepared as you are. I say hell no to that. You too should realize for your inaction, there is also a price, and that's why you're paying it. You see, things don't work like that, you know. The majority of people who voted for change did not vote for exchange. Change means we are to look forward to better. Pensioners are still happy at their new lease on life that they received from a campaign promise made and delivered so soon after the good Mitchell took over the helm of government from the old lying and brambling nastiness. Teachers breathed a sigh of relief when they received the return of their docked salaries that the old lying and brambling nastiness took from them. Public servants received their salary increases promised, and all considered at a very decent rate. Police officers who were neglected under the kleptocracy for all of the years the chief lawbreaker was presiding over them were able to receive their due and well-deserved promotions. Imagine the new generation in Grenada who were excited to see someone finally looking like them, offering himself to lead the country's affairs, and they responded responsibly. Just look at how excited our children of all ages are when the good Mitchell is in their company. Ooh, folks, can't you pick up the actual vibes of these children? The old, tired, and exhausted imposter with absolutely nothing new to offer except more of the same. And you know what those more of the same is? Listen to them. Tight clothes, black shoe polish in hair, garnished with a terribly rumpled face and a soft mouth, spitting venom at every opportunity. Absolutely no vision except to say, we go govern, we go govern, we go govern. And the dunces, none the wiser. Folks, that is history. Booted out, and the majority of people in Grenada need to stay awake to make darn sure this idiot never returns. Again, I would like to apologize to anyone who I have not yet offended. People love that boy. Please be patient. I will get to you shortly. After all, it's a lot of you. So I beg of you, take a number and stand in line. Wait your turn, because it will come. In the meantime, If you ever heard a bad story about me, believe it. I just want you to realize that there was a time I was good to the people telling you the bad story about me. What a pity they won't tell you that. I admonish each and every one of you that you will not get anywhere in your life, whether spiritually or otherwise, until and unless you reach to the point where you don't give a damn what people think about you. As long as you worry what other people think about you, you will remain mediocre. It only matters what you believe about yourself. Believe in yourself as a successful person. Believe that you can, and surely you will. But until you believe you can, trust me, you won't. Euripides warns us, folks. If we talk sense to a fool, trust me, he will call us foolish. We have been seeing this very often since June 23rd, 2022. The fools run sure. And with the aid of social media, they are not afraid to spew their dunceness repeatedly. What a shame. I want to be the sensible person being called foolish instead of the other way around. Join me, please. It is an indictment on the people who cannot discern sense from foolishness. So you see, once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. Don't you think we should take a little break now, folks? That was a little hot segment there, wasn't it? And more to come.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program. Become a Pure Grenada Excellence Champion. The Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program is a unique service excellence training initiative created to improve the quality and marketability of local service providers, better enabling the provision of exceptional experiences to locals and visitors alike. Continuing in September, these free customer service workshops, facilitated by yours truly, Eddie Frederick, are available for interested business operators and staff of tourism enterprises. Stay tuned for important updates. Or you can also visit www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion to take advantage of this training opportunity.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
The Country Cold Store wishes to advise their wholesale customers and the general public that the wholesale operation, which includes the offices at Piedmont St. David and their sales trucks and delivery service, will be closed and unavailable on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023, to facilitate their annual stock-taking exercise. The wholesale operation will resume on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Country Cold wish to advise, however, that their retail outlet or mini-mart will not be closed for this process and will remain open on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Country Cold apologize for any inconveniences caused and wish to thank all customers for their cooperation and understanding.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Folks, and for those of you who joined me during the last segment, I want to thank you very much welcome. And of course, hit that share button. Let's get some more people in the room because we are on a little bit of fire this afternoon. I would really like to see many of you folks, many of us, get out of our ruts, whatever rut that we fall into. You see, you may think that you have come from the wrong family and even in the wrong part of town. Nonsense. You may not have any money or very little education. In the natural, the future may not look very bright at all. Some people around you may even try to discourage you and tell you there is no reason to hope for more. Others may tell you to stay where it's safe. Folks, most times where it is safe is you being stuck in a rut of defeat and mediocrity. Don't listen to all the naysayers. They are not going anywhere with their lives either. And so they want you to join them. Because you know what they say, misery loves company. Get out of the rut. Don't be satisfied with where you are. God is not limited by your environment, family background, or even present circumstances. God is limited only by your lack of faith. Learn to walk by faith and not by sight. After all, I have been doing this for all of my adult life. There was a time a certain man, you know who that certain man is? Listen to me carefully. The old nastiness. He was loaned power through the people. He promised to turn me into a bankrupt. You see, because he was bankrupt of good character and devoid of integrity and honesty, he thought my God would have allowed him easily to break me. That was not to be. As I was imbued with a spirit of survival, I was not born of my own strong mother of survival to grow and mature into a weakling. Oh, no, that was not happening. Believe God for greater works, folks. He has for you what he has for you. And you have to believe that. Step out in faith and you will break through the barriers. I did and continue to do. Because I walk by faith, not by sight. Where's the old nastiness today? I am still the same person. I don't look like a vagrant with a Rolex watch, you know. You see, I am not a churchian, nor a subscriber to the hypocrisy of the Jesus industry. But here faith as manifested by my actions. And hence I continue to get out and escape the ruts of life as fast and furious as they present themselves along my life's journey. You too can do that, only if you increase your faith. Stop following the old nastiness of a devil and making a pedestrian spectacle and nuisance of yourself, because that's all you're doing. Break the cycle, folks. Maybe you hail from a long line of broken homes, failure, depression, poverty, mediocrity, and other personal and family problems. You need to say, enough is enough. I am going to break out of this cycle and change my expectations. I am going to start believing God for bigger and better things. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. You see, when God puts a dream in your heart, when he brings opportunities across your path, you are really invited to step out boldly in faith. Expect the best. Move forward with confidence, knowing that you are well able to do what God wants you to do. Right where you are currently, prepare yourselves for more. You see, abundance is not only for a few, but abundance is for who is prepared to do what it takes to enjoy abundance. You see, this is what you call positioning for the gifts of God. God wants to do a new thing in your life, Grenadians. Stop believing in Obia as a quick fix. You see, that's why among you is churchians. to go into the vernacular here now, and it angers me. Churchians and members of the Jesus industry, you fall for cackapool in your quest, thinking it's foul egg. Among you like too much obia, too much nastiness. That's why it's easy for you to throw down anchor and follow the old nastiness. Folks, you've got to do your part. Get outside that little box that you've grown accustomed to. Start thinking big. Pray, ask, and agree that you have received. And here now, it will be yours. I do that all the time. That's the power of faith. Remember though, God helps those who help themselves. Because after you pray, you have to go and do the work. Do the put in the elbow grease. You see, if you don't think your dreams will ever come to pass, they will never. If you don't think you have what it takes to rise up and set that new standard, it's not going to happen. The barrier is in your mind, which the scripture calls a stronghold. And you and I know the devil has a stronghold on many of you. That stronghold is given strength because of your lack of focus and your refusal to have a larger vision of yourselves. It's your wrong thinking pattern that keeps you imprisoned in defeat. And that is why it's so important that you learn to think positive thoughts of hope, faith, and victory. But perhaps somebody has spoken negative words into your life. Maybe you allow the devil to reside within you. Maybe someone has told you that you just don't have what it takes to become successful. Maybe your small vision of yourself makes you a sitting duck for manipulators posing as leaders to enter your sphere and absorb you to do their biddings. Reject those lies wherever you find them. Remember, the old nastiness once used his position to bring the power of state against me, to see if he could fulfill his mandate that he gave himself to turn me into a bankrupt. And he failed miserably. That was my strong faith that he came up against. Folks, there are people who met him, and when they met him for the first time, they never felt good about themselves. They had to go home quickly and pray, because you know what that is? Bad spirit was encountered by their good spirit, and the two spirits started to fight. Because the old nastiness is nothing but a bad spirit. After all, if God is for you, folks, who dares be against you? Break through those limitations and let your mind dwell on fresh, positive attitudes of faith. My job is to present the facts as forcefully and unafraid as I am capable of, in an effort to edify you, so that you too can arise and enjoy the high standard of living and quality of life that God has in store for you. The reason why many of you cannot see your way is because you are serving too many masters. How could you say you're a Christian and you follow devoutly the old nastiness of a devil? Hello, hello, hello. They don't add up. How could you say you're a Christian, but you're finding yourself in the auditorium doing stupidness, semi-demi and rubbish? You see among you already yet? Huh? You have money to waste. Folks, we want you all instead to pass on a legacy. Goodly folks, don't ever get satisfied with where you are. Maybe you come from a family like mine, where we all did not have much materially. Or maybe you come from a family with a little bit more, with some prestige and even position. Regardless, you can experience more than the generation preceding you. After all, it is God's will that every generation comes into the world to improve on the generations they met ahead of them. Respect what your parents accomplished, but don't be satisfied to simply inherit what they have, to do what they did. Show up and do more, because you will be blessing them and blessing your own memory. God wants each generation to go further than the previous generation, to be more blessed, to experience more of his love, more of his goodness and influence in this world. You see, folks, he doesn't want you to stay where you are. You can be so much more than your predecessors, passing on a legacy of positive attitudes, positive blessings and success to your children and their friends. Once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. Folks, study your head now, man. Study your head. Let's take a little break and we'll come right back.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during EDDIE-FICATION are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program. Become a Pure Grenada Excellence Champion. The Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program is a unique service excellence training initiative created to improve the quality and marketability of local service providers, better enabling the provision of exceptional experiences to locals and visitors alike. Continuing in September, these free customer service workshops, facilitated by yours truly, Eddie Frederick, are available for interested business operators and staff of tourism enterprises. Stay tuned for important updates, or you can also visit www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion to take advantage of this training opportunity.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftop and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
The Country Cold Store wishes to advise their wholesale customers and the general public that the wholesale operation, which includes the offices at Piedmont St. David and their sales trucks and delivery service, will be closed and unavailable on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023 to facilitate their annual stock-taking exercise. The wholesale operation will resume on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Country Cold wish to advise, however, that their retail outlet or mini-mart will not be closed for this process and will remain open on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Country Cold apologize for any inconveniences caused and wish to thank all customers for their cooperation and understanding.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wunderbar, as the Germans would say. Welcome back, folks. And this being the last segment, I want to, thank all of you for coming in the room. And those of you who just joined, especially, welcome. Let's get a move on here. The Grenada we live in today ought to be further along instead of further at the back. When followers successfully hoax a voting majority to think of them as leaders and succeed over real leaders, how we live today is the backwardness that will result. You see, frauds and fakes are generally accepted by most Grenadians, while genuine, honest people of integrity are rejected time and time again. It is high time for the decent people among us to fight back and assert themselves so all miscreants can be pushed back in their holes and await further instructions. I am sure that decent people of integrity are the general majority of the population. But too many of us are contented to sit back and allow the dregs of society to run roughshod over us and settle for less than we are capable of delivering to ourselves. I know I am not one of those. I am going down hard if even I have to push all on my own. You see, the dregs of society are emboldened to shake their lala all in our faces without compunction. Time for us to show them to their positions in the food chain. It is not difficult to see who they are, as their emboldened state is ventilated all over social media with their plethora of dunceness. If it were not for the ease with which many of our people mix up cacapool for foul egg, not being able to tell right from wrong, fake from real, dishonesty from honesty, and the whole 9 yards when it comes to a normal life, Grenada would not have to scramble to find things to celebrate 50 years of national independence. Folks, I'm leaving this question with you. Tell me what we have to celebrate. Find something that you're proud of as an achievement for 50 years of independence, and see if you could message me and put it there. Put it in the message. You would be hard pressed to find one. A meaningful something, that is. All you could find is bacchanal, dunceness, poverty, just stupidness. And you had a man that was a maximum leader for most of Grenada's 50 years of independence. And the place is as poverty-stricken as it comes. And among you like that, you were almost going to give him 6 helpings. Among you really sad, you know. Folks, listen to me carefully. We have made absolutely no advancement that warrant us celebrating. But instead, because of our attainment of national independence on 7th February 1974, we are safely qualified to observe the annual anniversaries. We are just about to hit our 50th. That's all. But I want you to listen to me carefully, folks. On the 9th of August, 1965, Singapore separated from Malaysia to become an independent and sovereign state. You hear nothing yet? Listen to me carefully, folks. At that time, the population was 1.89 million people. 58 years on, the population is 6,014,723 people. A 318% growth over the period. Giving it rather the second highest population density in the world, with Monaco coming in first. You see, that once British colony, properly managed, was led by a visionary leader, Lee Kuan Yew. He became its first prime minister upon attaining independence. But funny enough, this graduate of both London School of Economics and Cambridge University, with his double first degree in 1947, was called to the bar 3 years later, immediately after which he returned home with a pledge in his heart to get involved in the local politics, to take his country forward. And that he did. To triumph to the point where each Singaporean today is proud. What was Grenada's population back in 1974 when we gained independence? On paper, 97,528, but generally believed by most in a practical way to have been around 90,000. 50 years on, the official statistics calculate that Grenada's population is 126,183, which is strongly disputed, as many believe it to be significantly less and not very much more than 50 years ago due to continuous migration. You see, if even it is 115,000 today, what accounts for the extremely slow pace of growth over the last 50 years? The lack of vision of our leaders over the years when compared with the vision of Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Folks, thanks to SGU's 10,000 students, the population reached over 100,000. Sad. I'm putting it into perspective for all you dunce people that insist on supporting the old nastiness, for you to understand how much of a humbug he was to this country's development. Singapore is adjudged the country with the highest standard of living and quality of life in the world. After nearly 60 years of independence, the people of Singapore boast of leading seaport operations, leading airline, leading airport operations, most orderly and structured society, making it the best example of a colony that evolved with sound leadership into a first world country to match and surpass its one-time colonial masters, the United Kingdom. Could you imagine the per capita income of Singapore? Hey, listen to me carefully, folks. Is 82,794 US dollars, while Grenada's is US 9,340. The former colonizer of Singapore, Great Britain, is under US $50,000. And many of you still want to follow the visionless old nastiness. Folks, it is recorded that within the second half of 2022, Grenada's per capita income rose by 10% with just 6 months of a new administration. Put that in your pephum, all of you. While it appeared to remain stuck under the longest serving administration since independence. Where is Grenada in the scheme of things, folks? Singapore, which is 17% bigger than St. Lucia, has 5.8 million people more than St. Lucia's 180,251 people population. Another country that is described well and has a 52-year history as an independent state is the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Since December 2nd, 1971, the UAE declared independence from Great Britain, and today it is another force to be reckoned with a per capita income to match its former colonizers of just under 50,000 US dollars. Dubai is integral to the UAE and is famed for being the most populous city in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and is the capital of the Emirate of Dubai, one of the 7 emirates that make up the country. You see, many professionals would agree with you that Dubai is not a city, in as much as it is a company, and Sheikh Mohammed is the CEO. Just like any successful company would listen and take note of the actual demands of the needs to be met, and understanding that its customer comes first before you have any success in business. Dubai understands this. So when they were formulating their approach to this ultra-modern city, they pledged to remove all bull crap, removing all the resistance that they know the rest of the world is suffering from, and make life so easy and cost-effective when you really compare it. Come in, get things set up fast through innovation. Bring the biggest minds in. Give them what they need fast. Set it up and let it go. That's Dubai. Folks, we have people starting new businesses in Grenada. Wonderful facade. Nice name. Looks ultra modern. And when you go inside, a big old shop. Hear me now in Creole. Nothing different from who they're trying to compete with. Folks, it's sad, you know. Where is our level, folks? And a lot of the people doing these things are young people. You are supposed to be agents of change. Modernize the place. But you see, what happens in Dubai? Go look and see if any of that obtains here in Grenada or anywhere else in this region. The answer is hell no. Poor leadership over the years, reflective of a limping population, where "tell them it's so we day" are the watchwords of the people for the most part. Laziness influences our bureaucratic structures, established for nothing to take place, and younger people joining the workforce and perpetuating this nonsense instead of becoming active agents of change. When the few leaders with vision get down to serious business, these lazy, mostly no initiative, waste of time people seek refuge at the door of their legal aid, the unions, to fight these leaders. Isn't that something? So that they could continue to show up, give little or no value for the money that they are paid. Because tell them it's so we day, and they ain't coming to change nothing. This brings us to the real rules, folks, of a leader. A real leader, not the many fakes we have who are status-oriented. They like their little designer bag, designer shoe, nice tie, nice dress. They look good. And that's all. Nice office. They drive a nice little new car outside that the company buy for them. Or if they buy it for them, they buy it for themselves because they have a nice salary. And that's their legacy. When they get fired, they're dead, or they leave the work. As the old people say, watch me. Nothing. They leave nothing behind. Folks, it's sad, you know. And they're happy to tell you they are the leader, they are the manager. Folks, we see all the rejects of politics having and voicing an opinion today all over social media. And while they were in office and given an opportunity to lead, they were attempting to feather their own nests and are today flat out desperate, spreading rumors of how things bad. Folks, things are bad with them because they didn't have any brights for all the pillaging, the rampaging of our economic and our finances, rather. That's the word I want. The rampaging of our finances, the raping of the country, the pillaging. They expected that nonsense of the old nastiness to be perpetuated ad infinitum. They didn't prepare for this day. Folks, we have to see to it that they never come back. Let them stay and quarrel and complain that their belly hurting them, they're hungry, and how they are nothing. Because at one time they had plenty and they squandered it. It's sad, eh? But they have all the answers now. All the answers now. And the bad things that they were all committing while they were there, they are now trying to ascribe and accuse the good Mitchell and his team of doing. Hello? It's sad, eh? Things must be bad with them, as I said, as they have no other station in life to look towards to earn their keep. Because they are, come on, folks. The first role of a real leader, folks, is to be the chief meaning officer, the CMO. His role is to let everyone in the place know where he is going, why he is going there, and most importantly, what is in it for you to get there with him. I believe the good Mitchell has demonstrated this by his successes. When one thinks of his humble beginnings, you never hear anybody ascribe thieving to him. He never was called a thief, a bubble man, a con man. You can't call him those things because he earned his keep honestly. You never hear he thief anybody shipping agents money. You never hear he leave paper signing, agreeing to pay back money. Was pardoned, and when given an opportunity, can't pardon nobody, come in to try to see if they could declare people bankrupt. Folks, that's sad. That's sad, and that is why I believe my God is going to make sure that old nastiness never see power again. Hello? And we have to make that happen. You see, the good Mitchell, as I said, has demonstrated time and time again through his successes. You see, first of all, he registered mammoth successes as a corporate lawyer, which a lot of people thought they would use in a negative sense to make him look bad. But I will use it positively. He was a mammothly successful corporate lawyer before pivoting into politics. When you come into a new job and you say, we want a change, change is great, we got to do it, we forget people hate change. You see, you've got to explain to them what is in it for them to change with you. Wouldn't you like to be as successful as the good Mitchell has been? Then Deacon Mitchell is the good man to follow. Not the old nastiness you've been following with absolutely nothing to show for it except poverty and maybe some short-lived prosperity. You see, leaders are expected to become the chief meaning officer and give meaning to every one of those people that are out there doing that job, so they understand why you are going where you are going. Folks, once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. You see, I'm in, I'm out, and just before I'm gone altogether today, allow me to share something that boggles my mind. We do have loads of people in Grenada who are undiagnosed kleptomaniacs. This makes them dangerous to society that is made up of many simpletons. The diagnosed ones, of course, who have trusted relatives and friends that look out for them, are very fortunate. But what a pity they are so few, in that they remain vigilant to stand in the gap and help preserve these people's dignity, even though they are wrought with this compulsion to steal. Then there are those again who are designed by genetics to steal, and from an early age, they manifest this character flaw. The other unfortunate group is comprised of the unconscious people who are simply not aware of this mental imbalance, or better put, insufficiency. Folks, let it be known that whichever category of kleptomaniacs any falls into, this recurrent urge to steal, in other words, to thief, is a mental defect, and typically it is without regard for need or profit. Someone like that is born with a very strong wish to steal that they cannot control, usually considered to be a type of mental illness. You see, for example, I knew he or she was a kleptomaniac of extraordinary skill. Such people should generally be given a pass by all of us who are not so afflicted. After all, it is a mental illness that they really cannot help. I know of a few among us, and I will never be seen calling them out publicly as I can empathize, because it is an illness. What a pity. There are a few of them who go out constantly to feed this recurrent urge to steal, knowing that they have this as an issue. Yet for all, you can see them and hear them all over social media, throwing shade, giving people words, making pronouncements as if to impute improper motives against other hard-working, well-meaning, and industrious people in their effort to tear them apart. Hear me now. I threw my corn. I did not call any foul. Look to see who will respond to this by wanting to take me on, and you will know who they are. I want to remind you, I simply do not care what such defective human being or beings have to say about me. You know why? Among them you would find I would have been extremely kind to, but they will not tell you that. Before I leave, allow me to congratulate the Deacon Mitchell administration for having the cojones, the testicular fortitude, to finally recognize a truly historic day in Grenada, October 19th, with its rightful declaration as a public holiday. Folks, that is interesting, you know. There is something in that for everyone on all sides of the polarized political fence. For the people who hated the revolution inside out, it is the day that you got to see the back of it. And for those who loved it, it is the day you started your regrets that it came to a sorrowful end. End of story. That should be put into perspective and end all this stupid talk about this momentous decision. Folks, the reason why our people behave picamel anyhow is because they have no knowledge of their history. Declaring this day a public holiday does not take away from anything. It is our history being respected. A matter of fact, March 13th should be declared a public holiday too. July 4th, 1776, the United States of America declared a public holiday, Revolution Day. Folks, this PRG thing that y'all want to call and reduce to a coup, joke all you're making, you know. Ask older people how many doctors, Grenadian-born doctors Grenada had in 1979, living here and working here when the revolution came. A handful, you know. How many they have now? Folks, that was a revolution because it delivered change to Grenada. And it is a revolution for us to be proud of, because in 4.5 years, the revolution delivered a lot more than the kleptocracy under the old nastiness delivered in nearly 30 years. Put your head around that. But among you want to sit down with your inferior political vibes and dunceness. But what kind of thing? He taking advice from some PRG people? Just rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. People should tape among you and play it back for y'all to hear how retarded some of you sound. You heard what I said, folks? There is something in it for everyone and all sides of the polarized political fence. For the people who hated the revolution inside out, it is a day that you get to see the back of it. So sit down in a public holiday, drink some wine, and celebrate that it's done. And for those of you who loved it, it is a day that you get to sit back and shroud yourself in regrets that it came to a sorrowful end. End of story. Hello? I recall telling you that I would like to apologize to anyone who I have not yet offended. Please be patient. I will get to you shortly. After all, it's a lot of you. Take a number, stand in line, for your turn will come. Once you've been exposed to greater, everything lesser is exposed. Folks, I'm gone. Thanks for joining. Continue to share. See you next week, God willing, for regular programming. And just before I leave, let me remind you that the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program comes to Grenada very soon. So please go on the Pure Grenada website and just do your inquiries, register, and let's get this thing moving. We have a country to build. We want to follow Singapore. We don't want to follow no old nastiness anymore. We want to follow the Singapore model of development so that our per capita income can rise exponentially. And all of us could be smiling Grenadians because we've done it collectively and together. So until next week, stay safe, stay well, and remain lifted. Blessings, blessings, blessings to all of you.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Welcome to Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through edification, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights. The Country Cold Store wishes to advise their wholesale customers and the general public that the wholesale operation, which includes the offices at Piedmont St. David and their sales trucks and delivery service, will be closed and unavailable on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023 to facilitate their annual stock-taking exercise. The wholesale operation will resume on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Country Cold wish to advise, however, that their retail outlet or mini-mart will not be closed for this process and will remain open on Monday, October 2nd and Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Country Cold apologize for any inconveniences caused and wish to thank all customers for their cooperation and understanding.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Become a Pure Grenada Excellence Champion. The Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program is a unique service excellence training initiative created to improve the quality and marketability of local service providers, better enabling the provision of exceptional experiences to locals and visitors alike. Continuing in September, these free customer service workshops, facilitated by yours truly, Eddie Frederick, are available for interested business operators and staff of tourism enterprises. Stay tuned for important updates. Or you can also visit www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion to take advantage of this training opportunity.
Hurricane season is now upon us. So we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safely and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftop with other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice.